Good morning, all. Drink chug-a-lug, boom chug-a-lug. Sorry so late. I was up till 4 a.m. watching the second season of The Umbrella Academy, which is a surprisingly good science fiction series. If you haven't seen it, brings up an interesting point. How many of you guys have bought models that you? And by the way, a couple of you guys brought this up in the comment section, but watching the TV show Get Up this morning made me think about it. How many guys have bought models that were inspired by movies or TV shows? Sure. I'm probably the only guy I know that builds models that never bought the Baba Black Sheep Corsair, and the reason was is I knew it was just the 1/32 scale Revell Corsair repopped, or actually, repopped with slightly different decals. I think it had the arrow for the wing and the tail because one of the planes in the TV show had it, although Boynton Squadron never had that marking. I'm guessing that Corsair already had that marking on the tail. They just didn't want to repaint it. So the people who made the show went, oh, that looks good. We'll make that the squadron leader or something. For those who don't know, one of them had a big white barrel on the wing and on the tail, which I assume was some kind of either squadron marking or squadron leader marking for some unit. But of course, that TV show, they were scrounging for Corsairs. I don't know if they had like 3 or 5 of them, but then of course they had various models. They had post-war models with the four-bladed props and everything, and the different shaped cowlings and stuff. But I mean, now I'm really picking a nit. The sad part was they had to go and do mock dog fights with Zeros, of course, that were made from 86 Texans, which were only a couple hundred miles an hour slower. So you'd see them trying to stage these battles, and of course, they're supposed to be flying a battle with their flaps down, and which of course is the only way it wasn't going to overtake a T6. Still, to their credit, the day before CGI, everything was practical effects. Actually, for the budget they had, they did pretty good. But it's like if you want to do a barrel roll, and they would just loop the camera so the guy sitting in the cockpit in a movie would, go around like that. And, yeah, it's a loop, not a roll. But I guess all of us probably bought Star Wars kits, so those would count in Star Trek. And I'm looking at something out the window that a little activity on the street. I have because of my yard guy is not that anybody got here, I got a big bush growing up in front of my window where I normally sit here and be the old man spying on the street. Wait up, kid! What are those darn fishy kids up to? Get off my lawn, kid! But of course, most of the sci-fi, if you built a kaiju, that's from a movie. So anyone's built a King Kong or Godzilla or Gamera, and then of course Star Wars and Star Trek. With probably most of us have built a fair amount of that. Has anyone ever built modified a kit to be something for a movie, like taking a 707 kit and made TGA Airlines, which was the airline in the movie Airport, or I bought the MPC Jeep, which is just the MPC's old recoilless rifle Jeep, but they give you the decals and stuff for the Earth Planetary Defense Force, which so technically it's from Godzilla versus Astro Monster, so that would count. Let's see, of course, the Viper from Battlestar. Yeah, well, like I said, pretty much all the sci-fi. But then there's Monkey's Mobile, which I'd actually like to get one of those. I always wanted one. That's one car model. Somehow I just never got. Let's see what else. Oh, half the stuff from Aurora, and all the figure characters, Frankenstein, all those. And the more I think about it, yeah, I imagine probably all of us have probably bought something as a kid or an adult that's from the movies or TV. But Dukes of Hazzard car, I guess if you did Billy Carter's truck, that would count. You know, more of a news thing, but it still comes off the TV. Um, I remember the Snake and Mongoose dragsters race cars, the funny cars they made. Uh, but those was actually fairly popular, but those really weren't off TV. Then, did they ever make a model of the Scooby van? I've seen a picture. One of you guys sent me a picture of the Mystery Machine, but I don't recall. Was that something you made, or was that a kit? But then there was, like I said, I think I said the Batmobile. I'm sure they must have made the Black Beauty from Green Hornet. And by the way, when I do the Aurora video, there's a pretty interesting story there too. I'm just waiting to hear back from Andy to make sure I'd like to hear back from him before I make it, because I want to make sure I got the notes straight. Yeah, man, now it's something to think about. There's a lot more television and movie stuff out there than I thought about. Let's see, War of the Worlds. Yeah, when worlds collide, yeah, just about. Well, of course, Forbidden Planet. Only one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made. A lot of people say it pioneered the motif for Star Trek. You know, with the three-person command structure, the captain, the doctor, and the first officer. So what TV and movie models did you make? Or for that matter, media, I guess, news would count too. Now, I'm not counting a UH-1 from Vietnam. Well, I don't know, if you saw, like, if you're as old as I am, if you remember seeing the Vietnam War on television, and that motivated you to buy a Huey, or UH-1 or something, then I guess that would kind of count. But I'm really thinking more along the lines of entertainment. Yeah, Space Ghost, Green Lantern, Flash Gordon, Savior of the Universe, and or is there ever a song that made you? Because I know my brother was a big fan of the TV show Moving On, but I about the truck drivers with Frank Converse and Claude Aiken, but he had already been a fan of trucks, I think, before that, and the CB radio craze. And for those who are too young to know what I'm talking about, in the 70s, there was, before the days of cell phones, we had Citizens Band radios, and truck driver with the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, and movies and TV shows like Convoy and Moving On. Truckers had kind of become, folk heroes. And my brother was caught up in that craze. He could spot that's a Diamond Rio, that's an International Transstar, that's a Kenworth. No, not a Peterborough, that's Kenworth. You can tell by Anyway, so trucks, semi-tractor trailers were popular. So there's the Moving On truck and a lot of others. You know what? I don't think they ever, and I could correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall ever seeing a kit for the truck from Duel, the famous, one of Spielberg's early works, the famous Dennis Weaver is on a small car and out in the desert, and he and a truck driver wound up, he winds up passing some psycho truck driver who apparently likes to crush people with his truck and the cars, and it's a duel between the two of them. No guns, a strictly vehicle on vehicle, little car with speed versus the big truck with mass, and proof that Spielberg, it's easy to see why he got tapped to do so many movies, because the movie shows a lot of talent, just in tension building, and but some of those tactics you'd see in the movie Jaws, but except that in Duel you never actually see the driver's face. You never get a good look. You never really get a good look at him. In Jaws, of course, you don't see the shark till halfway through the movie. Of course, I understand that that's more because they had trouble with Bruce the mechanical shark than anything else, but it turned out to be a better way to make the movie, because it was so the mystery, the scary part, the fact the unseen enemy. That's what makes it so terrifying. Whoever said in the comment section, you're right. The coffee does take better if you bring in some air with it. Oxygenate those taste buds. But so, what was your favorite kit or kits that you made that were prompted by a TV show or a movie? See, part of the thing is like being see, when I was a kid, I saw Mosquito Squadron, Battle of Britain, so I ran off and bought more Spitfires and Mosquitoes, but I was inclined to buy that kind of stuff anyway, so I mean, it counts, but I'm thinking more, well, no, that would count. I was going to say more specific, like the Baba Black Sheep Corsair or the Monkey's Mobile or, the Aurora Frankenstein or Godzilla I went and saw, oh gosh, there were so many. There was even the Adams even made the balloon from around the world in 80 days. And this was a company that up to that point had made mostly military vehicles and missiles. And they made, I think their last kit was a Saab Draken jet. If there's anybody from Sweden, and I managed to catch myself and not do a fake, embarrassing Swedish accent, if there's anybody from Sweden, please tell me the proper way to say it. Is it Draken or Draken, the jet by Saab? And one last step to go, and I'll leave you guys to the day. I have models to work on, and I have really need to get cracking on the history videos. I've got some of them mostly written up. I need to start putting those out. I've been having so much fun with you guys doing this other stuff with the build videos and everything, and just these daily routines. They're so much fun and they're so low stress that it's kind of taking me away from my core, which is doing the history videos. So I got to get cracking on that. These things, I say, it's just gonna be a quick video, and then I start, well, I edit a little bit here and I edit a little bit there, and you know what? I'm not doing that today. I am going to send it straight from the cell phone, uncut, slurps and all. You guys have a great day.